In this video, we will be solving Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 4 Extended February-March 2023 exam. And remember, in this paper, we are allowed to use a calculator. All right, question 1. We have two students sharing $750 in the ratio that is 8 to 7. We have to show that Elaine receives $400. All right, so take the total amount, which is 750, and then divided by the total share ratio, right? So 8 plus 7. And then multiply by the number 8, because we want to work out the amount of money that Elaine received. So Elaine corresponds to number 8. All right, so this would give us 400, and that is the money that Elaine received. The next one, Elaine spends $150. Write $150 as a percentage of $400. So simply just use the division method, 150 divided by 400. And we have the answer is 0.375. And that one can be rewritten to 37.5%. Next, we have part B. He invests the remaining $250 at the rate of 2% per year simple interest. So remember, this one is simple interest, so that one is very simple. Calculate the amount Elaine has at the end of 5 years. So we have the formula for working out the total amount of money that Elaine received at the end of 5 years. All right, so first of all, let's write the formula. So we have 250, which is the initial amount, and then times 2%. So that one would be the interest he receives after 1 year. But because the time interval here is 5 years, so we're going to take this one multiplied by 5. And this would be the total interest that he received after 5 years. All right, so that one is the total interest. So now we have 250 times 2% times 5, and we have $25. But we want to calculate the amount that Elaine has at the end. That means that we have to take into account of the initial money that he has. So here is the total money. That is, take the initial amount, which is 250, and plus the interest, and we have the answer is $275. The next one, Beatrice invests her $350 at the rate of 0.25% per month compound interest. Calculate the amount Beatrice has at the end of 5 years. All right, so because the rate is in the unit of per month, but the time interval is in a unit of years. So we need to change the year into the month. So 5 years is equivalent to 5 times 12, which is 60 months. So now we can apply the formula for working out the compound interest. So here is the interest. I mean the total interest. The total interest would be 350 times 1 plus 0.25 divided by 100 to the power of 60. All right, so the answer is 406. 406.566, and that one is equivalent, is approximately equals to 407. So the answer is $407. All right, so because give your answer correct at the nearest dollar. All right, so remember that the nearest dollar is $407. And for the next part, we have 3 people. Carol, Dina, and Eva share 100 oranges. And we know that the ratio of Carol to Dina is 3 to 5. All right, so first of all, let's use the letters C for Carol, D for Dina, and E for Eva. So this one can be written as C over D is 3 over 5. And C over E is 2 over 3. All right, so find the number of oranges Carol receives. So we need to find the value of C, right? And we also know that the sum of these 3 letters is going to be 100. So C plus D plus E is 100. All right, so how can we find out the value of C, of the letter C? One method that is very useful in this case, that is substitution. So we will substitute the value of D into the sum of 3 variables. All right, so from the first ratio, we can infer that D is, all right, wait, we can move this one to the right. So from this one, we can rewritten as, make the D the subject, and D is 5 over 3C. And similarly, we have E is 3 over 2C. So now we have D, we have E, and then just substitute them into the sum. So we have C plus 5 over 3C plus 3 over 2C is 100. All right, so that means one plus 5 over 3 plus 3 over 2. 25 over 6. C is 100. So take 100 divided by, and then we have number, 100 divided by 25 over 6, and we have the answer is 24. All right. The next part, Fred buys a house. At the end of the first year, the value of the house increases by 5%. At the end of the second year, the value of the house increases by 3% of its value at the end of the first year. And we also know that the value of Fred's house at the end of the second year is $60,564. Calculate how much Fred paid for the house. All right, so we can demonstrate the word problem in the timeline like this. So this would be the point, would be the time when Fred paid for the house. So that would be the beginning of the first year, right? This one would be the time when Fred paid. So let's say the amount of money that Fred paid, that is the letter X. And then there would be the end of the first year. the end of the first year. And here is the end of second year. All right, at the end of the first year, the value of the house increases by 5%. So X is the initial amount, and then plus with the increased amount, which is X times 5%. And then at the end of the second year, the value of the house increases by 3% of the previous amount, which is this one. So we can simplify this amount. We can simplify to, so this is X, so that is 1.05X. So at the end of the second year, that is 1.05X is the initial amount, and then plus 3% of 1.05 times 3%. And this value is equivalent to 60,564. All right, so we can write down here. So 1.05x plus 1.05 times 0.03. And that is 0.0315 is equivalent to 60,564. 1.0815x is 60,564. So x is 60,564 divided by so one would be 56,000, right? $56,000. All right. The next one, also the last part of the first question. Gabrielle invests $500 at the rate of R% per year compound interest. At the end of 8 years, the value of Gabriella's investment is $609.20. Find the value of R. So simply just use the compound interest formula. Then we have the final amount, right? The final amount of the investment is 609.20 is equivalent to the initial amount times 1 plus R divided by 100 to the power of 8. And from this, we can calculate 1.R over 100 is going to be the 8th root of 609.20 divided by 500. So the answer is 1.025. All right, so now we know that R over 100 is 0.025. So the rate is 2.5. All right, so we already have the R percentage, so we don't need to write any percent sign here. The next one, question number 2. We have 100 students taking part in a reaction test, and we have the table showing the results. write out the mode. So the mode would be the reaction time that happens the most. So that one would be corresponds to the number of students, that is 32, and with the reaction time is 7 seconds. So 7 would be the answer for this question. The next one is finding out the median. So the median is the middle one, right? And we have 100 students. So the median here is going to be the average of the 50th and the 51st, because the number of students is an even number, right? So now we need to find out where is the 50th and 51st reaction time. And so it is recommended to have an extra column for cumulative frequency. This one is cumulative frequency. All right, so the first one is number 3. We just write down. The next one is 3 plus 32, which is 35, and 35 plus 19, which is 54, and here is 3, 8, and here is 9, 4, and here's 100. All right, so for the first row, that is showing the result for the number of students from 1 to 3. Here's from 4 to 35. Here's from 36 to 54. So the 50th and 51st would be in the reaction time of number 8. So the average of them is also the number 8. That means 8 seconds is the answer of this question. All right, the next one is calculating the mean. So simply just take the reaction time, that is 6, right? 6 multiplied by the number of students, which is number 3, and plus 7 times 32 plus 8 times 19 plus 9 times 29 plus 10 times 11 plus 11 times 6, and then divided by the total number of students, which is 100. So now we have the answer is 8.31 seconds. The next one, 2 students are chosen at random. Find the probability that both of their reaction times are greater than or equal to 9 seconds. All right, so there are 100 students, right? So the total number of chances that can happen is C to 9. So we will put this value into the denominator. So how about the numerator? The numerator is the desired result. So the desired result is the reaction times greater than or equal to 9 seconds. Greater than or equal to 9. So we have altogether, we have 29 plus 11 plus 6. And that means 30, 40, 46, right? So 46. All right, so the total number of cases is C to 46. All right, this one is 100. So now it's time to use a calculator. 46 C2 divided by 100 C2. And we have the probability is 0.2209, but it is recommended to report it in the fraction because it will be more precise. So 23 divided by 110. All right. The next one, the box and whisker plot shows the height of some students. Find out the range. So the range would be the max minus the mean. This would be for the mean value, and that corresponds to the value of between 100 and 110, and that is 105. And that would be for the max. Here is 158. All right, so take the max minus the mean. That is 158 minus 105. And we got this one is 53. So 53 is the range of this box and whisker plot. Find the interquartile range. So the interquartile range, we would take the Q3 minus Q1. So here, from this point to this point is the interquartile range, which is the IQR. And this point is 122. This point is 142. 142 minus 122, which is 20. All right, part C. The mass of each of the 200 potatoes is measured, and we have the table showing the results. We have to calculate an estimate of the mean. All right, because the mass is in the interval from 50 to 110, so we need to take the midpoint, which would represent the whole interval. All right, so here is another row for midpoint. There is the one that is between 50 and 110. So we take 50 plus 110 divided by 2, which is 80. And here is 310. We have 155. And here is 250. All right, so the mean, we would do it in the same way as a previous question. So take the midpoint, multiply by the frequency, and add them together. Then divided by the total number of potatoes, that is 200. And the answer is 105.725. Oh, I think I've made a mistake. Divided by 2, right? 155. And here is 250. All right, so take the midpoint. Eighty times 60 plus 150 times 99 plus 41 times 250. All right, so divided by 200. All right, so the answer is 151.975. I think the mistake that I have made with the inputting, right? I can see the calculation history. All right, here. 250 times 41. All right, so this one is 41. This one is 41 instead of number 4. So the answer is 151.975. All right, the next one is about frequency density. So we need to have another row for calculating the frequency density. So this one, that is frequency density. And in order to do this, we take the frequency and then divide it by the class width. So 80 divided by, or sorry, frequency is 60 divided by the class width is 110 minus 50. So that is number 1. Similarly, we would have 99 divided by 200 minus 110, that is 1.1. And 41 divided by 300 minus 200, that is 0.41. All right, so now we have the frequency. We can easily plot the histogram. So for the first interval from 50 to 110, then the frequency density is 1. All right. So for the next one, from 110 to 200, the frequency density is 1.1. 110 to 200 is 1.1. So here is 1.5. All right, so let's see how many divisions between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10, right? So each of them would be 0.05. We need 1.1. So 1.05, 1.1 is here. To 200. All right. And the next one is 0.41. 0, that is 0.4. And that is 0.41. All right, so from this point, this, and from 200 to 300 interval. All right, so now we have already finished completing the histogram. Question 3 is about a cylinder containing water, and there is a solid metal sphere touching the base of the cylinder like this. And we also know that half of the sphere is in water. It means that the center of the sphere is at the same level with water. So the radius of the cylinder is 12 centimeters and the radius of the sphere is 3 centimeters. All right, so when the sphere is removed from the cylinder and the level of the water decreases by 8 centimeters. So we have to know the reason why the level of water decreases. That is, the water will replace the amount of space that the sphere has displaced before. And that space is half of the volume of the cylinder. So first of all, we need to work out the volume of the spheres that displace in the water. The volume of sphere displacing in water. And that is half of the volume of the sphere, which is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. So the radius of the sphere is 3, and 3 cubed, and then divided by 2. Because we need to calculate the half, right? Alright, so now 4/3 times 3 to the power of 3 divided by 2, and we have 18 pi. And to calculate the height, right? The level of water decreases. Then we need to take this volume and divide it by the base area of the cylinder, which is the area of the circle with the radius of 12 centimeters. So H is 18 pi divided by pi times 12 squared. And that one is 18 divided by 12 squared, which is 0.125. And the unit is centimeters. So part B, the water in the cylinder is poured into another cylinder of the radius r centimeter. The depth of the water in this cylinder is 18 centimeters. Calculate the value of r. Alright, so now the water in the cylinder is poured, right? So we need to know the total volume of water. Alright, so here we know that this is the height of the water. So we need to calculate the volume of the water. So that is the height times the area of the base, which is pi r squared, and then minus to the half of the cylinder. So this one is 18 pi. 18 pi. So this is the volume of the water. The volume of water is this one. And this can be simplified to become 414 pi. This one is cubic centimeters. All right. So now, because another cylinder has the radius of r centimeters, and we also know the depth of the water in this cylinder is 18 centimeters, it means that we can apply the formula for calculating the volume of the cylinder is like the height, which is the depth of the water, multiplied by the base area, which is the pi r, which is the capital R squared. And this one is equivalent to 414 pi. So now we have r squared is 414 divided by 18. And we have 23. So now the radius is square root of 23. And the answer is 4.8, right? 4.80. 4.80, because we need to report the answer with 3 significant figures. All right, the next one. The sphere is melted down and some of the metal is used to make 30 cubes with edge length is 1.5 centimeters. Calculate the percentage of the metal not used. So first of all, calculate the volume of the sphere. That is 4/3 pi times the radius. The radius here is 3 times 3 cubed, and that is 4 over 3 times 27, we have 36 pi. And here is the volume of the cube. (1.5 to the power of 3 and 3.375). So here's the volume of 30 cubes. 30 times 1.5 cube. This one, take the answer, times 30. 101.25. All right. So we need to calculate how many. All right. So the method not used would be, we would use the volume of the spheres and then subtract the volume to make 30 cubes. So the percentage is going to be the V sphere minus the V of the 30 cubes, and then divided by the volume of the sphere. And that is 36 pi minus 101.25 divided by 36 pi. All right, so the answer is 0.104 or 108. And then we have to multiply it by 101,048, right? And this one multiplied by 100, we have 10.48. So 10.48% is the correct answer. All right, question number 4. We have a triangle in a graph, and we need to enlarge this triangle by scale factor 3, where the center is 0,2. So the 0,2 is here. And because the scale factor is 3, so this line would be extended 3 times to become this one. So this would be the new point of this one. Similarly, we would do the same with this. We have width. All right, so I think 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2. All right. So the new point is here, right? And then we would do similarly with this point. 1, 2, 3. So now we have the new triangle, which is the red one. Now we need to rotate triangle T about the point 4, 2 by 90 degrees clockwise. So the clockwise will be this direction. And the point 4, 2 is this point. So now rotate 90 degrees. All right, so first of all, we need to rotate this point. So this point would become this point. And then this point would become this point. And finally, this point would become wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? We have a 90 degree here. Okay, so this would be the next point. So now we will connect these 3 points together. All right. So we have a new triangle after rotating 90 degree about the point 4, 2. Then we have to label the image with the letter P. All right. Reflects the triangle T in the line x plus y equals 6 and label the image Q. So first of all, we need to draw the line x plus y is 6. So for x is 0, then y is negative 6. So we don't have a negative 6 here, so just taking out the pair, that is 3, 3. X is 3 and y is 3, which is this point. So when x is 2, then y is 4. 2 and 4 is here. So this would be the line. All right, so this one is a line for x plus y is equal to 6. So now we need to reflect the triangle T in this line. All right. So this point would become this point. All right. This point would become this point, and this point would become this point. So now we have the new triangle here. All right, so we can cross them out. I recommend to use a pencil when you take the reflection of this shape. All right, so this one is a letter Q. So now we need to describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle P onto triangle Q. P to Q, right? As you can see, there is a reflection line here. All right, so let's see, there's a line here. So Q is an image after reflecting the triangle P over the line, and this line is x equals 4. So here is a reflection in the line x equals 4. All right, so part B. The diagram shows a triangle OHK, where O is the origin. All right, so remember, because O is the origin, so every vector has to be counted to this origin. And the position vector of H is A, and the position vector of K is B. Z is the point on HK such that HZ divided by ZK is 2 to 5. HZ to ZK is 2 to 5. Find the position vector of Z. All right, so the position vector of Z is OZ, is a vector OZ in this direction. In order to find out the OZ, then we need to find out the HZ. And in order to know the HZ, then we need to find out the HK. But HK is very easily found out by using the triangle rule. All right, so we will write down here, that is OH plus HK is OK. Put the vector on top of each of the pairs of letters. Then the OH is replaced by A, and HK keep the same, and the OK is B. So now the HK is B minus A. So because HK is B minus A, it means that HZ is 2 over 7, right? 2 over 7. I mean that 2 over 2 plus 5, so 2 over 7 of b minus a. So when we have the hz, then we can easily find out the oz. The oz is going to be oh plus hz. So oh is a, this one is oh plus hz, and this is a plus 2 over 7 b minus a. And that one can be simplified to become 5 over 7a plus 2 over 7b. Now we will come to the question number 5. Expand and simplify. Alright, so first of all, deal with the expanding. So we take this term and then multiply with these two terms. We have 6p4 minus 4p2. And then this term multiplied with these two terms, minus 9p squared plus 6. And it's time to simplify. So these are two like terms, so we combine them, equals 6p4 minus 13p squared plus 6. And now we cannot simplify anymore, so that one is the simplest form. All right, the next one. We have s is 1 over 2 of u plus v, and then multiply by t. Find the value of s when we know u, v, and t. All right, so simply plug these three values into this formula. We have s is 1 over 2, 20 plus 30 times 7, and that gives us 175, right? 175. Rearrange the formula to write v in terms of s, u, and t. All right. To write v, in order to write v in terms of s, u, v, t, then we first of all multiply by 2. Then we have 2s is u plus v multiplied by t. Then we divide it by t on both sides of the formula. 2s divided by t is u plus v. So v is 2s over t minus u. 2s over t minus u. Part C, we have to factorize completely. All right. So let's see. 2, negative 3, negative 6, and 4. They don't have any common factor here. And how about the variable? qt, t, nothing, and then q. They also don't have any common variable here. So we need to find another way that if you look closely enough, then you would notice that if you combine these two, then you would have the common part that is 2q, right? So first of all, let's combine them, put them in the same group, 2qt plus 4q. Put them in the bracket, and then put the rest outside, minus 3t, all right, minus 6. So here, if you put the 2q outside, then the inside of the bracket is t plus 2q. Oh wait, 2t plus 2, right? T plus 2. And pay attention that if the t plus 2 can be in the form of this one. So this one, if we put the minus sign outside, and then inside we have inside the bracket we have 3t plus 6. Then we will continue putting the number 3 outside the bracket. So the inside is t plus 2. So now we have a common part that is t plus 2. So we can easily regroup them. So t plus 2, the common part, and the individual part 2q minus 3. So this one is the form of factorizing completely. 2q minus 3. All right. The next one is x cubed minus 25x. So the common part, the common variable here is x. So put x outside. Inside we have x squared minus 25. And here is the form of a squared minus b squared, where b is number 5. So we continue, rewrite it as this form. And so we have x minus 5 and x plus 5. So that is the final answer. All right, question 6. We have A is the point 0,4 and B is the point 80. And the line L1 is parallel to the x-axis. Line L2 passes through A and B. Write down the equation of L1. So because L1 is parallel to the x-axis, so it has to have the equation of y equals to something. And the something here is number 4. And part B, find the equation of L2. All right, so because L2 is a straight line, so it has the form is y equals mx plus c. So first of all, we need to find out the gradient or the value of m. So m is the x. All right, so m would be the y change over the x change. So that is negative 4 over 8, and that is negative 1 over 2. So now we need to find out the value of c. So y is negative 1 over 2, x plus c. We need to substitute 1 point, the coordinates of 1 point into this equation. So let's choose this value. So 8, 0. So when we put 0 equals 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2 times 8 plus c, then c is number 4. All right, so the y here is negative 1 over 2, x plus 4. The next one, c is the point 2, 3. The line L3 passes through C and is perpendicular to L2. So first of all, try to plot the point 2, 3. So here's 4, here's 2. All right, so number 3 is here. Point C is here. The line L3 passes through C and is perpendicular to L2. Perpendicular to L2. All right, so here is L3. Show that the equation of L3 is y equals 2x minus 1. All right, so because we know that L3 is perpendicular to L2, it means that the product of two gradients is negative 1. So the gradient of L3 is going to be negative 1 divided by the gradient of L2. Negative 1 divided by the gradient of L2 is negative 1 over 2. So that is number 2. So now we know the formula of the line L3 is going to be y equals 2x plus d, and we need to find out the value of d. One interesting thing here is we know the point that the line L3 passes through, so we can substitute the coordinates of this point into this equation, and we have 3 is 2 times 2 plus d. Hence, d is -1. So the line L3 is going to be y is 2x minus 1. So that is the thing that we have to prove. And the next one, the line L3 crosses the x-axis at D. Find the length of CD. So first of all, we need to find the coordinates of point D. So because it crosses the x-axis, it means that y is 0. So when y is 0, then the xd is going to be, all right, so we have 0 is 2 times x minus 1. So xd is 1 over 2. All right, so now we know the values of coordinates of d, which is 1 over 2, and the other is 0. So now we know the point C and point D, then we just need to apply the formula for distance between 2 points. The CD is going to be the square root of, take the D minus C and then squared, plus 0 minus 3 and then squared. So this is square root of plus 3 squared, and the answer is going to be 3.35. All right. Next is question number 7. We have a set of students in the class, which is this letter, and another one is students who study physics, and another one is students who study chemistry. We have the total number is 24. The number of students that study physics is 17. So we can easily work out this missing value, because the number of students who study physics is going to be this ellipse. And then we take that and then subtract the number 9 here. Then we have the one that is missing, and that is number 8. Similarly, we can find out this missing value, which is 14 minus 9, and we have number 5. And lastly, because the total number of students in the class is 24, so we take 24 and then minus 8 minus 9 minus 5, and we have the value outside the 2 ellipses. So 24 minus 8 minus 9 minus 5 is 2. All right, so I'll put 2 outside the Venn diagram. Next, we need to find out the number of students that is physics and not chemistry. All right, so where is physics? Let's use the red pen. That is physics. And where is the chemistry? Let's use the black pen. All right. And here is the n, right? the intersecting sign. So we need to take the common part, that is the part with the two colors of lines. So it is the number 8. All right. Now we need to find the number of students, that is physics and not chemistry. All right, physics but not chemistry. So physics is here with the red one, and not chemistry once again there is the outside, that is not chemistry. So this time, because the sign here is the union, so we take both the common parts and the exclusive part. So we have 2 plus 8 plus 9. 2 plus 8 is 10, and 10 plus 5, 2 plus 8 plus 9. So 2 plus 8 is 10, and 10 plus 9 is 19. So we put 19 in this. Next one. 2 students are picked from the class at random. Find the probability that one student studies both subjects and one student studies chemistry but not physics. All right, so there are 2 cases, right? So first of all, if the first student study both physics, both subjects, and the other student studies chemistry but not physics. So the first case, that is first student study, or first student studies both, and the second student studies, or I think I would erase it. The first studies both, and the second studies chemistry but not physics. Then what is the probability in this case? The first one studies both. That means that we have number 9, right? We have number 9 here because we have 9 students study both physics and chemistry. We have 9 divided by the total student, that is 24. And multiply, because that one is the n, right? So we have to multiply by the second student study chemistry but not physics. So chemistry but not physics is number 5. So that is 5 over 23, because we have already picked one student from the group. So we have 20 students left. All right, so let's think about the second case. In the second case, the first student studies chemistry but not physics, and the second student studies both. Then we have the probability of the first student studies chemistry but not physics is 5 over 24, and multiplied by 9 over 23. All right, so it's time to add them up. 9 over 24 times 5 over 23. 15 over 184. 5 over 24 times 9 over 23. 15 over 184. So the probability is going to be 15 over 184 times 2, which is 15 over 92. Okay, 92. And part B, 2 of the students who study physics are picked at random. Find the probability that they both study chemistry. Alright, so here is a conditional probability. We already know that 2 of them are picked from physics. So we can know the total number of chances, that is the denominator of the fraction of the probability, that is C2 out of how many in physics? 8 plus 9, that is 17, right? 17. And we need to find the probability that they both study chemistry. All right, so that is C2 from number 9, because 9 is the number of students study both physics and chemistry. All right, so just use a calculator. C2 divided by 7C2. And we have 9 over 34. 9 over 34. We will continue with question number 8. All right, so calculate the area of the triangle. We take the product of the height and the base and divide it by 2. So in this case, the height is 9, the base is 12, and then divided by 2. And we have 9 times 6 is 54. All right, so this one is 54 square centimeters. The next one, we know that AB is 2x plus 3. And the height is x plus 5. And we also know that the area of this triangle is 50 square centimeters. So just plug these values into the formula, for calculating the area of the triangle. Then we have x plus 5 multiplied by 2x plus 3 divided by 2 is 50. So now 2x squared plus 10x plus 3x plus 15 is 100. So simplify and it would become 2x squared plus 13x minus 85 is 0. Alright, so we need to find the value of x when corrected 2 decimal places. So because they need us to show all of the working, so it is recommended to use the formula here. So x1 is, alright, so x is plus or minus negative 13 plus or minus square root of 13 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 85 and divided by 2 times 2. Four times 2 times negative 85. All right, and then divide by 4. Oh, wait, and then divided by 4. And we have the answer is 4.03. 4.03. This is a value for x1. And how about the x2? Just replace the plus sign. All right, so here is negative 13, and then minus, right? Minus. And this one would be divided by 4. We have another root is negative 10.53. All right, but as you know, the value of x all right, so because when we talk about the height of a triangle, right? So the height has to be greater than 0. So x plus 5 greater than 0, or x is greater than negative 5. So one of the answers would be the wrong one. So x2 would not be considered as a correct answer. And this one is eliminated. All right, so x is 4.03. And question number 9, we have the cubic equation, that is a cubic function, that is x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4. Find the gradient of the graph where x is 1. So simply just work out the first differentiation of this function. So that is 3x squared minus 6x. And then we will input the x is 1 into this first derivative. So we would have the gradient. Three times 1 squared minus 6 times 1, which is negative 3. So the answer is negative 3. Find the coordinates of the turning points of the graph of y equals f of x. All right, so when we talk about the turning points, then it is very crucial to work out the first derivative, which is this one, and then put it equal to 0. So we have f is equal to 3x squared minus 6x is 0. So then factorizing, then we have 3x, x minus 2 is 0. So x is 0 or x is 2. So when x is 0, then y is negative 4. And when x is 2, then y is negative 8. Then we would have the coordinates of the two turning points, that is 0, negative 4, and 2, negative 8. And the part C is about sketching the graph of y equals f of x. All right, so because the function f of x is a cubic, so it has a shape. It would be like this or like this. So it is very important to plot the two turning points on the graph. So the first one is 0, negative 4. 0, negative 4 would be, all right, so here is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and negative 4. And the other one is 2, negative 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, negative 8. All right. So there are 2 points, that is the two turning points. So one of them has to be the maximum and the other is the minimum point. So in this case, because the blue point is lower than the red one, so blue would be the minimum point and the red will be the maximum point. So the shape of the function f is going to be like this. Go to the lowest one and then come back. All right, I think it is good. All right, now then go to the next question. Number 10 is about geometry. The diagram shows a quadrilateral that is ABCD, and we know that AC is 12.3 centimeters, which is this. And we also that AD and BAC is 31, ABC is 90, and ACD is also 90. Show that AB is 10.54. All right, so in this right angle, that is ABC, right? We already know the hypotenuse and one of the acute angle. So it is very easy to work out the length of one of the two sides. So AB is 12 point, all right, so here is AC times the cosine of 31. All right, so cosine of BAC. So AC is 12.3 times the cosine of 31 degree. Then we have all right, so the answer is 10.54. All right, so correct the two decimal places. Correct the two decimal places. This is going to be 10.54. The next one, show that the angle DAC is 41.80 degree. Correct the two decimal places. The angle DAC, the DAC is this one. All right, so in this right angle, the right angle ACD, we also know the hypotenuse and this side. So we can use the cosine, right? So cosine. The cosine rule for the angle CAD. So DAC, the cosine of this angle is going to be AC divided by AD. And this one is 12.3 divided by 16.5. All right, so the angle DAC is all right, so we have the angle is 41.80 because we need just two decimal places. The next one, calculate BD. All right, for the BD, then we already know this angle, right? So this angle is 41.80 degree. And in part A, we already know the AB is 10.54. 10.54 centimeters. All right, so let's see the triangle ABD. Then we have this side is 16.5, this side is 10.55, and the angle between them is the sum of 31 and 41.80. So we can use we need to calculate the BD, right? So we can use the cosine rule for this. And we can write down the BD squared is equal to AD squared plus AB squared minus 2 times AD times AB times cosine of the angle is between the BAD. Cosine BAD. All right. So we will move this to the part C, and then all we need to do is just replace the value. So we have BD squared is AD 16.5, 10.54 minus 2 times the cosine of the angle BAD is, let's add them up, 72.80. 72.80 degree. All right. So this one is going to be 16.5 squared plus 10.54 squared minus 2 times 16.5 times 10.54 times the cosine of 72.8, and we have this one is 280.488, and this is BD squared. So now it's time to take the square root. Then we have 16.7. 16.7. All right. And the part D, calculate the angle CBD. The angle CBD. CBD is this one. All right, so we already know the length of the BD is 16.7, right? 16.7. So 16.7 centimeters. And we can also calculate the length of the BC and CD, and hence we can easily work out the size of this angle. All right, so how about the BC? The BC, we would use the hypotenuse, the Pythagorean theorem. So BC is the square root of 12.3 squared minus 10.54 squared, and that gives us 6.34. And how about the length CD? All right, the CD is 16.5. 16.5 minus 12.3 squared, and we have 10.998. All right, so now we know the BC, we know the CD, we know the BC, the CD, and BD. So we know all of the 3 sides of the triangle. Then we can easily work out this size of this angle. So the angle CBD, right? The angle CBD, the cosine of this angle is going to be take the sum of the squares of the BC and BD, and then minus the CD squared. Okay, BC and BD. So BC squared plus BD squared minus CD squared divided by 2 times BC times BD. All right. So now plug the values into this equation. We have BC is 6.34, BD is 16. All right, so take the BD squared here. 280.488 minus CD squared is 10.998 squared divided by 2 times 6.34 times the BD, right? So BD is 16.7. All right, so the inverse of cosine of this fraction So the answer is 19.4. All right. The angle is 19.4. The next part would be the last one of this question. Calculate the shortest distance from a point to a line segment. So the shortest distance would be the height that from this point, that is a point C to BD. So C to BD, right? So we would draw another line here. And this line has to be perpendicular to the BD. So let's call this point is the letter H. All right, so we need to find out the length of the CH. All right, so let's see how can we find it down. We already know this angle, right? The angle CBD, and we also know the length of the BC, so we can easily work out this side. So CH. All right, so first of all, CH is perpendicular to BD. H is on BD. Then we know that CH is BC times the sine of the angle. CH is equal to BD times the sine of the angle CBD. All right, so how about the length of the BD? The BD is 16.7. And this angle CBD is going to be 19.4 degree, right? 19.4 degree. So the CH is 5. 16.7 times the sine of 19.4. All right, wait. CH BC. We need to. CH is equivalent to BC. BC is not BD, all right? So this one is BC. BC times the sine of this one. All right, so BC is 6.34. 6.34. And hence we have the answer should be 2.1. And we need to correct it to decimal places, right? So 2.11. 2.11 centimeters. All right, number 11. We have four functions, and that's f of x, g of x, h of x, and j of x. So we need to find out the value of j of x when x is equal to -1. So simply just input the value x into this, and we have -1 squared, and that is number 1. The next one is a part B, when find x when the sum of f of x and g of x is 0. So we have 2x minus 1 plus 3x plus 2 is 0. So 5x plus 1 is 0. And we have 5x is -1 and x is -1/5. And the next one is find the g of x and giving your answer in the simplest form. So the g of x is here. First, we will write down 3x plus 2. So whenever we see the x, then try to replace it with the g of x. So we will replace that one with a 3x plus 2. And that one would be g of x. All right, so it's time to simplify. We have 9x plus 6 plus 2. So 9x plus 8 is the simplest form. All right, the next one. Find this one and plus this one, h of f of x. All right, so we will replace the f of x inside the h of x. So we have 1 over 2x minus 1. 1 over 2x minus 1 plus replace the h of x into the g of x. We have 3 times 1 over x plus 2. All right, so it's time to simplify this sum. So we have this is 1 over 2x minus 1 plus 3 over x plus 2. So the common denominator here is x times 2x minus 1. So x plus 3, 2x minus 1 plus 2x, 2x minus 1 divided by x times 2x minus 1. All right, so I think the first line is not necessary. So move them up for more space. Then we will simplify the numerator. So we have 4x squared plus 5x minus 3 divided by x times 2x minus 1. And that is the simplest form. The part B, when p of x is equal to x, then p of x is a function that the inverse is equal to the original one. So we need to find out another function in this group that has this property. So we will try to find the f of x. So that one is 2 times 2x minus 1 and then minus 1. So that is that one is 4x minus 2 minus 3, right? So this one is not equivalent to x. So the first one doesn't have this property. All right, so we can give as many try as you want, then you would come up with the function h of x, right? So let's try this. h of x is going to be 1 over x is replaced by 1 over x, so that is equal to x. All right, so we will put a ring around this one. The last question, we need to sketch the graph of the function y equals tan of x. All right, so remember for the tan function, then the shape of the function has to be in this one, this one, this one. But we need to find out the intercept with the x-axis. So the intercept, the first one has to be 180 degree, and the next one is 0 degree, and the next one is 360 degree. All right, so for the middle one, we have the shape would be like this. All right, so remember this line would continue forever. It would not touch this dotted line. And the same thing here. All right, so here is similar. All right, and part B, find out the value of x when tan of x is equal to 1 over the square root of 3. So first of all, use the calculator. We will input the inverse of tan is 1 over square root of 3. Then we have the value, the first value of x is 30 degree. So now, as we know that when we add 180 degree into the initial value, the original value of x, then the tan of them will be the same. So try to add or subtract 180 degree from this value. So let's say x2 is 30 degree minus 180 degree. So that one is less than 0, right? So it is not in the range from 0 to 360. So try to plus. All right, so now we have 210 degree. Now let's try to add more. So x3 is going to be 210 plus 180. But because this one would exceed the maximum number, and that is 360, so x3 would not be considered as a correct answer. All right, so we have two values, so that is x1 is 30 degree and x2 is 210 degree.